Unlike the breakdowns I've made up until this point, which are largely showcases, this is an explainer video targeted towards beginners with no background in GURPS. I've released the breakdown of this clip if that's more of what you're into, link in the description. This video is a companion piece that goes in depth. It's made more to teach people how to play GURPS than to show people GURPS. Quick rundown of GURPS combat. Top of the round, the person with the highest basic speed goes first, and then the next highest, and so on. If you choose to attack, you roll to hit. If you hit, your target rolls to defend. If they fail, you roll damage. Then the target you hit suffers the effects of that damage. All of GURPS combat is, at its core, this sequence. The many, many options just modify one of these rolls or change one of these steps. For example, grappling. You skip over the damage step, and the effect of the hit is a -4 dexterity penalty to the person you're grappling. In GURPS, you roll 3d6 under or equal to modified skill or attribute. Low rolls are good, so a 3 or 4 is a critical success. High rolls are bad, so an 18 is a critical failure. So that -4 dexterity penalty from being grappled would mean a -4 to target skill to defuse a bomb, or dance a jig, or drive a car, or punch you in the face, or any dexterity-based action. If he has a skill of 14 in boxing, for example, that means he's now rolling against a 10 after you grab him. I've put the full list of maneuvers on screen. If you want to read them, you can pause the video, but we'll be going into a few of these in depth in this video. Of interest here, I'm going to address the aim maneuver. GURPS combat turns are 1 second, so the aim maneuver is where you spend your turn, yes, your whole turn, aiming, which provides a bonus to hit on your next turn. This reveals a key concept found in GURPS combat, where rather than your turn being your opportunity to do something big and grand and heroic, you spend smaller turns to build up to that big, grand, heroic thing. This explainer looks at the shootout in Dirty Harry. Specifically, it touches on core combat mechanics, injury, ranged attacks, rapid fire, cars and driving, though only a little bit, and influence rolls. If you want to watch this scene without me interrupting, but you still want to see all the maneuvers, top link in the description for the pause-free breakdown. But if you're ready, let's jump into it. This is an aim maneuver and bog standard intimidation roll. The intimidation roll is a quick contest. Both sides roll, Harry against his intimidation skill and the robber against his willpower. How far under your target you roll is your margin of success. Rolling equal to the target number is a success of 0. The GM can apply any number of modifiers to the target number, but not to the rolls themselves. For example, the robber is in the heat of a robbery. Adrenaline running high, so most likely has a high bonus to resist the intimidation. Meanwhile, Dirty Harry didn't have a lot of time, is pretty far away, and hasn't demonstrated his skill or willingness to use lethal force, so he probably has a small penalty. Ultimately, the robber has a larger margin of success and acts unhindered. All of these modifiers can either be made up on the spot, or you can grab them from the book. GURPS is a very durable system in that so long as you're consistent with your rulings, you can basically make whatever rulings you like, and the system will just keep on trucking. Turn 2. Harry maintains his aim this turn. The robber tries to shoot at Harry but misses. There are 2 important modifiers here: distance and rapid fire. The distance gives him a penalty. At that far away, it's probably a -5 to -6. We'll say -5. The rapid fire bonus applies to shotguns and machine guns, which shoot many bullets or pellets in a second. A shotgun firing 9 pellets at once provides a bonus of +2. The shot ultimately misses. It is, after all, -3 cumulative modifier, and these mooks usually don't have a very high skill. Harry doesn't exactly dodge, but he does flinch, putting his head down. This doesn't spoil his aim like a true active defense would. Normally, in combat, if your opponent succeeds their roll to hit, you just have to succeed your roll to defend. Margin of success does not matter. Even if your opponent succeeded by 5, so long as you succeed at all, you don't get hit. But rapid fire is different. Let's say the robber succeeded by 3. The shotgun has a recoil value of 1, which we can use to see how many pellets hit. A margin of success of 0 means at least 1 pellet hits, and it scores an extra hit for every full multiple of the recoil he succeeded by. So a success by 3 and a recoil of 1 means 4 of the 9 pellets would hit. If it had a recoil of 2, then the success of 3 would mean 2 pellets would hit. In such a situation, a successful dodge avoids 1 pellet, plus 1 additional pellet for the margin of success. So a success by 0 dodges 1 pellet, a success by 1 dodges 2 pellets, by 2 dodges 3 pellets, and so on. Turn 3, after 2 turns of aim, Dirty Harry fires his gun. He gets no bonus for rapid fire, but he does get a bonus for aiming, which we know from the high-tech book that this gun, the Smith & Wesson Model 29, has an accuracy of 2, and the additional turn of aim provides an additional +1, which means Dirty Harry has a +3 to hit. With the -5 for distance, that gives us a total of -2 modifier to his skill. He's pretty good with this gun and succeeds, and the bullet has a chance to hit. The robber tries to dodge but fails the roll. He can't get out of the way and gets hit in a random hit location. What we later see is the arm. Against the arm, large piercing damage doesn't do anything special, but 3d6 plus 2 damage in general is enough to cripple the arm and prompt a knockdown and stunning roll. While this shot could have dealt the robber's full hit points in a single hit, when hitting a limb, all damage past 1/2 maximum hit points is lost. At worst, this guy is sitting at half of his hit points, so still definitely alive and conscious, but hurt badly. A crippled limb always prompts a knockdown and stunning roll, which is a roll against health, modified by traits like fit, high pain threshold, and hard to subdue. The robber is not that guy, and fails his knockdown and stunning roll, dropping the shotgun. Knockdown and stunning means his posture changes to prone, and he's stunned, which is a special state. Stun means he is at a significant penalty to defend, and he takes the do-nothing maneuver until he gets out of stun, which is a roll at the end of each turn after this one. For all intents and purposes, he is out of combat. At some point, he makes the health roll required to get out of stun, but we don't see that. Even if he did succeed, without an advantage like high pain threshold, he would suffer from shock, which is a brief penalty to IQ and dexterity on his next turn. This penalty would be equal to the amount of damage he receives, to a maximum of -4. But he doesn't even get the chance. Turn 4. Another robber runs out of the bank and shoots at Harry, a move and attack. In addition to range, a move and attack also penalizes a ranged attacker by the bulk of the weapon, which, for a snub-nosed pistol, like the one used by this robber, is -1. His total modifiers are -6, which is a very difficult shot. There are some characters in fiction who eat -6s like they're nothing, but this random robber isn't one of them. Harry shoots without aiming and also misses. The aims he made turns 1 and 2 don't carry past turn 3 when he attacked, and certainly can't be transferred to a new target. He can't overcome the -5 range penalty. Turn 5 is a straightforward move maneuver, with either a jumping or acrobatics roll at the very end. Though the jump isn't nothing, there's still a chance of failure. It's not that crazy. We'll say a modifier of +3. The driver has a wait maneuver that activates when his friend is inside the car. He'll start accelerating. All the while, Harry is aiming his gun. The robber's friend enters the car all the way, and the driver begins to accelerate. This doesn't require a roll, it just requires at least 1 point in the driving skill. Harry aims his gun for a second turn. Turns 7, 8, and 9 are all similar to each other. The car continues to accelerate, and Dirty Harry continues to aim, presumably center mass, the torso. Because he's holding this pistol with 2 hands, it's considered braced, and he gets an additional +1 to his aim. Past the 3rd turn, he doesn't get an additional bonus, maxing out at +5 from the aim. But the longer he waits, the closer the perps get to him, decreasing the range penalty. The driver is making evasive maneuvers, essentially dodging with the car. Harry fires 2 shots. The rapid fire bonus kicks in at 4 shots per second, so this isn't enough to get a bonus. His pistol has a rate of fire of 3, that's a semi-automatic, which means he can fire up to 3 shots in a turn, 3 shots a second, even though he only fires 2. Because both of these shots are fired the same turn after the aim, both benefit from the aim, and he's going to need it. The pistol has a recoil of 4, which means he needs to succeed by 4 or more for the second shot to hit. I think it's clear that one of them hits and the other one misses. The driver fails his dodge, so he gets hit with that 1 shot. This deals 3d6 plus 2 large piercing damage. It has to travel through the window, which has a damage resistance of 1. Damage resistance, or DR, subtracts from damage dealt before damage is received. DR is commonly found on armor, shields, or in this case, cover. The 44 Magnum deals large piercing damage, which is multiplied by 1.5 after DR. We'll say he rolls 12 damage minus DR to get 11 times 1.5, round down to get 16 damage. Considering most people have somewhere between 9 and 12 hit points, this will immediately get most people into the negatives. It may not kill him, but he will likely be unconscious past the end of combat. In GURPS, you don't die at 0 hit points, or past 0 hit points. You go into the negatives. When you're at 0 or fewer hit points, you risk falling unconscious if you do anything but a do-nothing maneuver. Every turn that you do anything else is a roll against health at the start of your turn, which, if you fail, you fall unconscious for an hour. This roll is penalized at -1 for every full multiple of your hit points you are in the negatives. So you're at -2 to stay conscious if you're past -2 times hit points. You don't risk death until you pass -1 times hit points, -2 times hit points, -3 times hit points, and -4 times hit points. Crossing any of these thresholds prompts an immediate health roll to avoid death. A failure by 1 or 2 means you're not immediately dead, but you are mortally wounded and will die soon if you don't receive medical attention. When you cross -5 times hit points, you die automatically. When you cross -10 times hit points, your body is totally destroyed. This distinction is important because in a setting with resurrection, any form of resurrection that requires a piece of the victim is impossible if they're past -10 times hit points, because nothing is left. But the fact that you're more likely to pass out than die means that GURPS is surprisingly survivable, considering the low max hit points that most characters have. Most characters, when they leave combat, they leave it from unconsciousness, not death. The driver falls unconscious and immediately loses control of the car, which causes a crash. Normally, you make a roll to maintain control of a vehicle in a difficult maneuver, and if you fail by more than the stability rating, which is how stable and easy to control the vehicle is, you get into a serious crash. Failing by less than the stability rating is a minor crash. In this case, since he's unconscious, it's just automatically a serious crash. After the crash, we leave combat time for a bit as the remaining robber climbs out of the vehicle, and Dirty Harry is mostly just aiming and looking out for the robber. Combat begins again with a move maneuver where the robber jumps down out of the car. Harry aims this turn, though we don't see him behind the pillar of water. Turn 13, the robber shoots at Harry, he misses. Dirty Harry continues to aim with his pistol braced in the other hand. Everything should be familiar to us by now. The robber attempts to run away, a move maneuver. Harry aims for a third turn. Harry shoots, nailing the robber in the chest from a close range. The robber fails his knockdown and stunning roll, likely going into the negatives. His leather jacket provides 1 DR, which isn't much against a 44 Magnum. Combat ends, and after combat, Harry walks towards the bank and checks the body of the driver. We'll fast forward through most of this. Now I'm just going to let this play out, and you should know enough to understand what's going on.
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I've kind of lost track myself. But Ian, this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Hey, I got to know. Oh.
And to close it out, fright checks. This is a will roll modified by the situation. It's up to the GM. There are examples given in basic set, but this is something that the GM chooses. If the robber fails, he adds his margin of failure to a roll on the fright check table. The result is always bad, though it ranges from freezing for a second all the way to falling into a fear-induced coma. In this case, the ultimate result is that he's stunned for a second or two, but recovers and realizes what happens, so clearly the result wasn't that bad. And that's the end of the video. Thanks everyone for sticking with me till the end. I hope you all enjoyed this new format. Don't worry, breakdowns are not going away. I still enjoy making breakdowns. I still have a big list of breakdowns that I want to make. The bulk of content on this channel is going to continue being combat breakdowns. This video is a combination of things. I've wanted to make more videos like this, and I will make more videos like this in the future that are more educational, sit down and talk about GURPS rather than just show a bunch of flashy GURPS stuff. But the reason I'm making this now is because of feedback I've received. The breakdowns, as many of you know, are not exactly representative of an actual GURPS combat, because 3 minutes run second by second is a ludicrous number of turns in GURPS. Now, 3 minutes where occasionally you go in and do second by second stuff, and then you break off and jump across buildings and leap through windows and swing on ropes and that kind of stuff, totally representative of GURPS, entering and leaving combat time. But 3 minutes where you stay in combat time for the full 3 minutes, oh boy, that is a long combat. And so this is much more representative of an actual GURPS combat. And I hope it is better teaching material. Like, you can share this video with someone and they can gain an understanding of how GURPS combat works in tech level 7, 8 with guns and fairly realistic people. I will see you guys next time. When that is, I have no idea. I do not have a consistent upload schedule, so don't ask me when the next video is coming out. I wish I knew, but I don't. Anyway, see you guys.